Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. Have you ever walked through your garden and wished it was just a little bit more alive? You know, bursting with fresh veggies and flowers so vibrant they could make a rainbow jealous. Well, that's exactly what we're diving into today. I'm sharing 20 genius gardening tips that I've learned over the years. Whether you're a seasoned green thumb or just starting out, these tricks are sure to level up your gardening game. Before we dive in, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss our weekly gardening hacks. Now, y'all know I love a good shortcut, but some things are worth taking the scenic route for, and Landrace gardening is one of them. It's about letting your plants adapt to your local climate. Save seeds from your strongest, healthiest plants. They're already used to your soil and weather. Store them in a cool, dry place until next season. Y'all, healthy soil is the foundation of a thriving garden. Nourish your garden with homemade compost. Speed things up using kitchen scraps and dry leaves. Just grab a bin and start layering. Kitchen scraps like fruit peels, veggie scraps, and coffee grounds, followed by dry leaves. Smaller pieces decompose faster. This trick gives you nutrient-rich soil in weeks. Growing microgreens is one of my favorite ways to have fresh, nutritious greens on hand year-round, and it's easier than you might think. You don't need a fancy setup or even a sunny windowsill to grow these little nutritional powerhouses. Simply sprinkle the seeds over the damp soil, mist them regularly with water, and watch them sprout. Within a week or two, you'll have a vibrant tray of microgreens ready to snip and add to salads, sandwiches, or even smoothies. Y'all, gardening is all about working smarter, not harder. And one of the smartest things you can do is embrace the power of companion planting. It's like playing matchmaker for your plants, pairing them up in a way that benefits everyone involved. Certain plants, when grown together, can actually help each other thrive. One of my favorite pairings is planting marigolds alongside tomatoes. Another classic combination is basil and tomatoes. So, before you plant your garden, do a little research and see which plants make the best companions. Now, let's talk about watering. A DIY drip irrigation system delivers water directly to your plant's roots, reducing evaporation and ensuring they get a nice, slow drink. You can make it using recycled plastic bottles. Just poke a few small holes in the bottom of a plastic bottle, fill it with water, and bury it near your plant's roots, with the neck facing down. As the soil dries out, it'll draw water from the bottle, keeping your plants happily hydrated. Living in the heart of Waco has taught me a thing or two about making the most of small spaces. One of my favorite space-saving solutions is vertical gardening. This method is all about thinking up instead of out, using walls, fences, and trellises to grow your plants vertically. You can use repurposed pallets, shelves, or even hanging planters to create your vertical garden. Just make sure to choose plants that are well suited to vertical growing, such as herbs, strawberries, or trailing flowers. Let's talk about those pesky critters that like to nibble on our hard-earned harvests. One of my go-to natural pest control methods is neem oil. Simply mix a few tablespoons of neem oil with water and spray it on your plants to keep those pesky bugs at bay. Another effective natural remedy is garlic spray. The pungent aroma of garlic repels a wide range of insects, and it's easy to make at home. Just blend a few cloves of garlic with water, strain the mixture, and spray it on your plants. Y'all, mulching is like giving your garden a big, cozy blanket. It helps to retain moisture in the soil, suppress weeds, and regulate soil temperature. All essential for healthy plant growth. For a rustic, natural look, try using wood chips or bark. No matter which type of mulch you choose, make sure to apply it evenly around your plants, leaving a little space around the base of the plant to prevent rot. One of the best things I ever did for my garden was to make the switch to raised beds. Raised beds offer so many benefits, from improved drainage to easier weed control, and they're a great option if you have poor soil or limited space. You can use wood, concrete blocks, or even recycled materials to create the frame. Once your bed is built, fill it with a good quality potting mix and you're ready to plant. Crop rotation is one of those gardening practices that might seem a little fussy at first, but I promise you, it's worth the effort. The basic idea behind crop rotation is to avoid planting the same type of plant in the same spot year after year. Instead, you want to rotate your crops, grouping them together based on their nutrient needs. This helps to ensure that your soil doesn't get depleted of essential nutrients. Starting seeds indoors is one of my favorite ways to get a jump start on the growing season. You don't need any fancy equipment to start seeds indoors. A sunny windowsill, some seed starting mix, and a few trays or pots are all you need. Simply fill your containers with the seed starting mix, sow your seeds according to the package instructions, and water them gently. Once your seedlings have sprouted, make sure they're getting plenty of light. Y'all, pruning might seem a little intimidating at first, but I promise you, it's one of the best things you can do for your plants. The key to successful pruning is to know when and how to prune different types of plants. Before you make a cut, always use sharp, clean pruning shears to prevent damaging the plant. And when in doubt, it's always better to err on the side of caution and prune less rather than more. Watering seems simple, but it's more nuanced than you think. Overwatering can be as harmful as underwatering. Water deeply and less frequently. Check soil moisture by sticking your finger in the soil. If it feels dry, water it. Soil testing might not be glamorous, but it's crucial. Buy home soil testing kits at garden centers or online, or send a sample to a lab for analysis. Results show pH levels and essential nutrients. Amend your soil accordingly. Add lime to raise pH or sulfur to lower it. Just like we need a balanced diet to thrive, so do our plants. Organic fertilizers give your garden the nutrients it needs. They release nutrients slowly, providing a sustainable way to feed your plants. Compost adds organic matter to the soil. Worm castings are nutrient-rich, great for seedlings. Follow package instructions carefully. Now, before we get too carried away with planting, let's take a moment to talk about garden planning. Start by assessing your space and deciding what you want to grow. Consider how much sunlight your garden receives, the type of soil you have, and the amount of time you're willing to spend on maintenance. Once you have a good understanding of your limitations, sketch out a rough plan of your garden, taking into account the mature size of your plants and their spacing requirements. Y'all, there's nothing quite like the satisfaction of harvesting your own homegrown fruits, vegetables, and herbs. But did you know that there are actually right and wrong ways to harvest different types of produce? For example, tomatoes should be harvested when they're firm and fully colored, while cucumbers are best picked when they're still young and tender. When in doubt, it's always a good idea to do a little research to find out the best harvesting techniques for the specific plants you're growing. Just because the weather's turned chilly doesn't mean your gardening adventures have to end. With planning, you can enjoy fresh produce throughout the winter months. Plant cold, hardy crops like kale, spinach, and carrots. Protect your plants with row covers, cold frames, or a simple greenhouse. Y'all, pollinators are the unsung heroes of the garden. These busy bees, butterflies, and hummingbirds play a vital role in plant reproduction. Attract them by planting diverse flowers that bloom at different times. Choose flowers in various shapes, sizes, and colors. Provide water with a bird bath or shallow dish. Well, folks, we've covered a lot of ground today, from soil preparation to pest control to harvesting techniques. A little bit of regular maintenance goes a long way in keeping your garden healthy and productive. Make it a habit to walk through your garden every few days, checking for pests, diseases, and weeds. And most importantly, don't be afraid to experiment. Gardening is a journey of learning and discovery, and there's always something new to learn. Have you ever walked through a lush garden and felt that sense of peace and abundance just wash over you? That's what I want to share with you today. Whether you're starting with a window box or have acres of land, I believe everyone deserves to experience the joy of growing their own food and creating a little slice of paradise right at home. And the best part? You don't need a green thumb or a fancy setup to get started. If you want to learn something from this video, don't drag it and watch it from the beginning to the end. We're going to dive into 20 genius gardening tips that are practical, budget-friendly, and perfect for both beginners and seasoned gardeners. So grab your gardening gloves and let's get our hands dirty. Now let's talk about extending your growing season, even if you live in a place with chilly winters. You don't need to spend a fortune on a fancy glass greenhouse. One of my favorite DIY projects is building a simple, sturdy greenhouse using PVC pipes and plastic sheeting. Picture this: sturdy PVC pipes forming the frame, like the bones of a beautiful structure, and then clear, sunlight-catching plastic sheeting stretched over it, creating a cozy haven for your plants. It's like giving your seedlings a warm hug, even when it's frosty outside. And the best part? This project won't break the bank. You can often find affordable PVC pipes at your local hardware store, and the plastic sheeting is readily available too. Plus, there's just something so satisfying about building something with your own two hands, wouldn't you agree? Now, when it comes to assembling your greenhouse, it's all about finding a sunny spot in your yard. You want your plants to soak up as much of that glorious sunshine as possible. And don't worry, we'll walk through the steps together. It's easier than you might think. Imagine this: crisp winter air outside, but inside your little greenhouse, it's a verdant paradise. Leafy greens are thriving, herbs are releasing their fragrant aromas, and maybe you even have some early tomatoes starting to blush. This simple structure can make all the difference, extending your growing season and allowing you to enjoy the fruits and vegetables of your labor for longer. Plus, it's a charming addition to any garden, adding a touch of rustic elegance. So, are you ready to roll up your sleeves and create your very own budget-friendly greenhouse? Let's get building. Now let's bring a touch of the outdoors inside with some houseplant love. Even if you don't consider yourself a natural green thumb, trust me, these easy care houseplants will thrive with just a little bit of attention. First up, we have the ever-popular pothos. This trailing beauty is about as low maintenance as it gets. Give it bright, indirect light, and let the soil dry out between waterings. You can even snip off a stem, pop it in water, and watch it grow roots. Next, we have the peace lily, known for its elegant white blooms and air-purifying qualities. These graceful plants prefer low to medium light and will actually tell you when they're thirsty by drooping slightly. Just give them a good soak when you see those telltale signs, and they'll perk right back up. Now, one of the most common mistakes I see folks make with houseplants is overwatering. Remember, it's always better to underwater than to overwater. A good rule of thumb is to stick your finger into the soil about an inch deep. If it feels dry, it's time to water. And speaking of watering, let's talk about light. Just like us, plants need their dose of sunshine. But be mindful of placing them in direct sunlight, as this can scorch their leaves. A bright spot near a window, but not directly in the line of fire, is ideal for most houseplants. Now, one of my favorite things about houseplants is that they not only add life and beauty to our homes, but also clean the air we breathe. It's like having little green oxygen factories right in your living room. So, don't be afraid to invite some greenery indoors. With just a few simple tips, you can enjoy the beauty and benefits of houseplants, even if you're a beginner. Chapter 3: Turning gardening into a side hustle, from seed to profit. There's something special about transforming your passion for gardening into extra income. Imagine waking up to the sunrise, tending to your plants, and sharing your bounty with your community. It's more attainable than you might think. Start by selling your extra plants. Those baby spider plants around the mother plant. Free money waiting to be potted up. And then there's microgreens. These nutrient-packed greens are all the rage and easy to grow indoors. They command a premium price at farmers markets and restaurants. Don't underestimate the demand for fresh, locally grown produce. Your neighbors would be thrilled to buy surplus tomatoes, zucchini, or herbs directly from you. You might think, I'm just a backyard gardener, not a farmer. But people crave that connection to their food and support small, local growers. Gardening can empower individuals and families to create additional income streams. It's about sharing your passion, connecting with your community, and creating something special. If you've ever dreamed of turning your love for gardening into a side hustle, it's possible. Start small, experiment with different crops, and put yourself out there. Amazing opportunities might sprout from a single seed. Chapter 4. Pest Control with Natural Methods. Keeping your garden eco-friendly. Now, let's talk about those pesky critters who might try to nibble on our hard-earned harvests. While there are plenty of chemical pesticides out there, I always prefer to take a more natural approach, one that's gentle on our gardens and the environment. One of my go-to solutions is neem oil, a natural insecticide and fungicide derived from the seeds of the neem tree. It's like magic. Mix a few tablespoons with water in a spray bottle, and you've got yourself a potent weapon against aphids, whiteflies, and other common garden pests. Another natural remedy I swear by is garlic spray. Now, don't worry, your garden won't smell like an Italian restaurant. Simply crush a few cloves of garlic, steep them in water overnight, and then strain the liquid into a spray bottle. This pungent concoction will deter pests and even help prevent fungal diseases. The beauty of these natural methods is that they're not only effective, but also safe for beneficial insects like ladybugs and lacewings, which are like little warriors in your garden, helping to keep the bad bugs in check. And remember, maintaining a healthy ecosystem in your garden is key to preventing pest outbreaks in the first place. Encourage biodiversity by planting a variety of flowers to attract pollinators, and consider adding a compost bin to recycle kitchen scraps into nutrient-rich soil amendments. Creating a thriving, eco-friendly garden is all about working with nature, not against it. By choosing natural pest control methods, you're not only protecting your plants but also fostering a healthy environment for generations to come. Chapter 5. The Secret to Year-Round Harvests. Mastering succession planting. Now let's unlock the secret to a continuous supply of fresh, homegrown produce. Succession planting. It's a simple yet brilliant technique that involves staggering your plantings to ensure a steady harvest throughout the growing season. Think of it like this. Instead of planting your entire lettuce crop at once, why not sow a small row every 2 weeks? That way, you'll have a steady supply of fresh greens rather than a feast or famine situation. This method works wonders for fast-growing crops like radishes, spinach, and arugula. You can even apply it to root vegetables like carrots and beets. Just imagine pulling up a batch of tender baby carrots every few weeks throughout the spring and fall. The key to successful succession planting is to understand the time to maturity for each crop you're growing. For example, if you know that your lettuce takes about 30 days to mature, you can plan your plantings accordingly. And don't be afraid to experiment. Try intercropping fast-growing vegetables like lettuce or radishes between rows of slower-growing crops like tomatoes or peppers. This maximizes space in your garden and ensures that you're always harvesting something delicious. Succession planting is like a dance between you and your garden, a rhythmic flow of sowing, tending, and harvesting. It's about creating a harmonious balance that ensures a bountiful and continuous supply of fresh, homegrown goodness. Well, there you have it, folks. 20 genius gardening tips to help you create a thriving garden that not only nourishes your soul, but can also put a little extra cash in your pocket. With these 20 genius tips, your garden will thrive like never before. Which tip will you try first? Let us know in the comments below. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video to spread the gardening love.